About a month ago, I unboxed and got my first impressions of the Teclast Tbook F6 Pro. I didn't have any preconceived notions about this device. I got it from GearBest. They sent it over for my unbiased opinion, and I wanted to put it through its fair shake, and I wanted to see if it was worth your money. And I am pleasantly surprised with this device. I really think this is one of the better convertibles out there for the money. Hey everybody, this is Andrew from AMDtech, and this is my 30-day review of the Teclast Tbook F6 Pro. I've got a lot of exciting things on the way to the studio, so don't forget to hit that subscribe button. And of course, don't forget to follow me on Twitter for the latest updates. GearBest sent this over for my unbiased opinion. I'm not being paid or being sponsored by GearBest. And in case you haven't checked out my unboxing and first impressions video, I'll leave the link below for you to check it out. And because I love you all so much, I'm going to give away this laptop to one lucky viewer. That's right, details and instructions at the end of this video. The Tbook F6 Pro comes in at $595, but I've seen it as low as $450 on flash sale. For that, you get 8 GB of RAM and 128 GB of SSD storage. It's powered by the Intel Core M3 7Y30 7th generation Intel processor. Now let's start off with one of the things I really like about this device, its display. Now it's a 13.3-inch IPS touch display. It has a resolution of 1920 by 1080. That's a full HD resolution with 166 pixels per inch. It also has a 16 by 9 aspect ratio. Now this is not a fully laminated display, and what that means is there's a slight gap between the panel and the glass itself. Now it's about 1 millimeter or 2, and what this means is the blacks will not be as deep and you will get a lot more reflections. Now they did put a pre-applied screen protector on this because this is not covered in Gorilla Glass or any Dragon Tail glass or anything of that nature. So I don't recommend you taking off the pre-applied screen protector. Now, as far as the colors, they're very vibrant. The blacks are pretty deep considering this is not a fully laminated display. It gets somewhat bright. It's 230 nits. It's not the brightest in the world, but it's certainly not the dimmest. Now, you can use it indoors without any issues. Outdoors in direct sunlight, of course, it will be an issue, especially because it has that glossy display. I think Teclast did a really nice job with the display despite it not being fully laminated. Now it has a 360-degree metal hinge, and the month I've been using it, it really has been holding up really well. It's really rock solid, very firm, and it hasn't given a little bit at all. Actually, it's held up really well. Now this being a convertible device, meaning you can use it in the different modes. For instance, you can use it in the tent mode, great for use in the kitchen when you have a recipe, or if you want to consume some media such as Netflix or YouTube. Or you can place it into stand mode, great for navigating with your finger or with the pen. We'll talk about the pen in just a moment. And of course, you can flip it down into tablet mode. You can use this. I don't really like to use tablet mode all that often or too long of a period of time. It gets a little bit heavy, but really most of the time I use it in what we call, of course, laptop mode. Now I don't have the stylus on hand. I know Chris over Tech Tablets did a video on it. Apparently it has 1024 levels of pressure sensitivity. I'll put a link below to his video for you to check it out. So if something you want, maybe you can order that as well. But as far as the pen, I don't have it, but from what I hear, it's okay. So check that out. I'll put that link below. Now I really like the keyboard. I'm guessing at about 1.2, 1.3 millimeters of key travel. It's comfortable to type on. It's nicely spaced out. I'm actually pretty impressed on how sturdy this keyboard is as well. Now it's not backlit, unfortunately, as you do get on some other high-end laptops. This unfortunately does not have a backlight. Nonetheless, it's still very comfortable to type on. Now, as far as the touchscreen is concerned, it's really responsive. It does work well with pinch to zoom, and you can do scrolling with your finger really nicely. And as far as the touchpad is concerned, it works really well. It's a bit undersized, but you can do all your Windows 10 gestures, and two-finger scrolling is a pleasure. I'm actually surprised on how good that touchpad is. Again, a bit undersized, but very responsive. Now, I love the fact that this is an all-metal premium design. It feels very high-end, and it also doesn't have any glowing logos or any insignia on it on the outside of the device, and I think that's great. I really like that very understated minimalist look. Now, I really feel like you get a decent array of ports on this device, and I'm really happy with that. Now, on the left side of the device, you have a USB Type-C. You can do data, charge, and display out. It can support a 4K monitor up to 30 Hz. You also get your micro HDMI port, and that can support also a monitor at 4K at 30 Hz. And you also get a USB Type-A 3.0. And moving along to the right side, you have your DC in, it's 12 volts, 2 amps. You also get your 3.5mm headset jack. Now, I did notice a little static on it, not terrible, but I did definitely notice it, so something to keep in mind, but overall not a deal breaker. You also get your second USB 3.0 Type A, and of course you get your micro SD card slot for storage expansion, but it is only using USB 2.0 to power that, so you're not going to get the fastest speeds. I would plug in an adapter into the 3.0 port, and therefore you'll get better transfer speeds on your SD card. Now, I'm not a big fan of where they placed the power button. In fact, I think it triggered rather easily, so there is a solution to that. What you can do is turn it off in the settings, so when you press it, nothing will happen, and therefore that solves the problem. Teclast makes it really easy to swap out your SSD by putting an access door on the bottom of the device. It's secured in by one screw. Removing that one screw gives you the access you need. But one negative, there is no secondary SSD slot like you'd get on the Jumper EasyBook Pro or the Chewy Lapbook Air. The SSD you see here is the one provided by Teclast. The bottom plate is held in by 10 screws. Removing those, it's really easy to remove the bottom plate, and you can access the innards of this device. It has Windows 10 Home, and it is activated, which is always a good sign. It has 8 GB of DDR3 RAM, and it has 128 GB SSD, of which 94.6 GB are available to the user. And here's how it did on the Crystal Disk Mark test. 484 on the read, 146 on the write. That's so-so. It did a 5062 on the multi-core score and a 2357 on the single-core score. And the OpenCL score, it did 14,769. Now, you're not going to be able to play AAA games at the highest settings on this, obviously, but you can do some gaming. Here's Counter-Strike Global Offensive, and you put down the settings a little bit, you can get around 35-40 frames per second, and it is somewhat playable, so something to keep in mind. You can certainly play a lot of the Windows Store games, but again, AAA games at the highest settings is not realistic. It has Bluetooth 4.2 and wireless AC 3165. It's dual band wireless, and here's how it did on the uploads and downloads. Now, I tested the webcam in the unboxing and first impressions video, and as you can see from the video, it's not that great. It's a little bit grainy. It's a 720p 30 frame per second webcam, and the audio was a little bit on the low side, so I'm not a big fan of this webcam, although it will work when you need it in a pinch, when you need to do Skype or a video conference. But overall, I would say it's so-so. Now, in a departure from other Chinese manufacturers, they do put the speakers above the keyboard, below the display by the hinges, and actually they're not terrible, but they're not great either. Doesn't have a lot of bass, the volume is okay, but they sound a little bit tinny. They're not the worst I've ever heard, but they're certainly not the best. Now let's hear them in action to give you a quick example. The fingerprint sensor is located within the touchpad, and it worked pretty well, registering my finger pretty much every time I used it. One area where I was really pleasantly surprised was in battery life. Now, it sports a 50 watt-hour battery, and on my 1080p streaming test, I was able to get a little bit over 8 hours. In fact, I got 8 hours and 10 minutes, which surprised me. I didn't expect this good of a battery life, and I think it has a lot to do with the fact that they lowered the brightness on the screen, which would extend the battery life. It just makes a lot of sense, and I really think this is an all-day device, which is good news. Now, if you do any kind of mixed use or any kind of gaming, you certainly will reduce the battery life. Heavy gaming, going to look about 2 hours. Mixed use with 40% of brightness at YouTube, Netflix, some light gaming, some web browsing under the Chrome browser, you're looking at around 7.5 hours. So overall, I'd say it's pretty good battery life on this device. And as far as charging is concerned, you can charge with the DC charger that it's supplied with or with a USB-C port, but either way, either port, you're looking at around 3 hours and 40 minutes to fully charge this device from 0 to 100%. So to bring it all home, can I recommend the Teclast Tbook F6 Pro? And the answer is absolutely. I've been pleasantly surprised with this convertible. The things I like the most is its display. I like the fact that it's a 1080p display. Even though it's not fully laminated, you still get some really vibrant colors and you still get some deep blacks. I really like that display. I also like its battery life. You're looking at anywhere from 7 to 8 hours, of course, depending on what you're doing with the device. The negatives being here that the display doesn't get that bright, 230 nits, although I would have liked it a little bit brighter, and the speakers are subpar in my opinion. I didn't find them anything special. In fact, I thought they were a little bit below average, to be honest. It didn't have that much bass. And that's really all the nitpicking I can do with this device. There really isn't too many other negatives. This is an overall solid convertible and very versatile device. And that's why I'm going to give this an 85%, making the Teclast Tbook F6 Pro worth your money. And because I love you guys so much, I'm giving this away. It's the Tbook F6 Pro. Yes, you can win it. One of you lucky viewers can get a chance to win this. All the details are in that link below. Check it out. It's open to everybody and will last for 2 weeks. I will announce the winner on my Twitter account. So if you're not following me on Twitter, I encourage you to do so. I'll put my Twitter account in the link below as well. Make sure you follow all the instructions on how you can win this Tbook F6 Pro. So please hit the like button, please subscribe, please share this video. Don't forget to leave a comment in that comment section below. Let me know how I'm doing. Let me know if there's a device or something out there you think I should review. I'll do my best to try to make that happen. Don't forget to check me out on Facebook, on Twitter, Instagram, and of course our website, AMDtechreviews.com. And good luck to everybody who wants to win this Tbook F6 Pro. It really is a nice convertible. I really encourage you to hit that link below, follow the instructions, and good luck to you. So until next time, this is Andrew from AMD Tech. See ya.